Okay, guys. So we are recording now from today, right? For next 2 weeks, we are doing revision on our important topics, right? So here you can find basically. Look, let's go back to our main folder, right? And then open the 11 full stack revision. In this section, right? These are the topics we should do the revision and try to understand in the basically try to know, right, how to use all these things, okay, for our projects. After completing this, like everyone should be able to work on your own projects, one project, right? Plus these two projects you must add in your GitHub, right? And then link to your basically in your, if you want, you can link in your portfolio, right? Just add it there as well. But these two video will be for the uh, basically practice of all these things, right? Whatever from here, not everything, but these are just the front end website, right? So for practice, you must follow this, complete these two projects. So we have 2 weeks time mastering these things and completing this project, right? Before you can start your own project. And then our final project will be social media site. One project that we will see. One project we're going to do at least. Okay, guys. So in today's class, we're going to work on the tailwind CSS. And then after SATCN, right? Maybe tomorrow. But let's work on tailwind for today's class, okay? So what I will do, I'm just going to install the Next.js, right? And then use their tailwind CSS. So how I can install Next.js? Always we have done many times, right? So let's open that. Next.js. So here in the menu, right? Just go to the installation and then find the link, which is here. Just copy, right? Now place it, and then I want to install in the same directory. Then, just give the directory like the root directory. This is a root, right? Where root means where this terminal end, right? That's the root. For me, the root is Next.js right now. This is what opened in my VS Code. That is the root for me, right? So I'll just install in the root slash dot slash, right? Now, when you install the Next.js in this way, right, it will ask you some options like, do you want TypeScript in your project? Yes. We always gonna use TypeScript, right? ESLint, always yes. Tailwind CSS, yes. Source directory, you don't need now, right? I mean, you can organize, see the source directory is for organizing your project, right? Just the extra directory, okay? And then inside you will get the app and all that, but let's keep it normal, right? We don't need that. That is not the mandatory, so just keep it no. An app router is recommended, right? We must need that one, okay? Because everything now in Next.js is depend on app router, right? So localhost 3000 is app, and after that you have routes like home page or about page or maybe contact page. That is routes, right? So yes. Alias, import alias, right? Basically, will you like to customize the default import alias? You don't want to customize, just leave it at the rate slash, and see at the rate slash and there is star, right? That means at the rate slash means root. Basically it's the root directory, right? And then whatever inside there, like any folder, star means anything after that, right? So when you call at the rate slash, it will bring you to the root directory, and then you will reach next folder, right? If you add the folder name here, that means next folder, okay? So you don't want to change, just leave it like that. No, right? And it will install the application, okay? So always, that's how you're gonna install Next.js. because you want to use TypeScript, you want to have ESLint, you want to have you want to have the tailwind CSS, right? And next time when we gonna install, when we start learning this SATCN, we're gonna install SATCN, right? Basically, we're gonna initialize the SATCN here. So let's open the, it's installed now, right? And then always look at the packages and things, like in the script. Script is the basically contain the command, right? For development, npm run dev. For building the project, you're gonna have npm run build. After building, you want to start, right? So npm run start. Okay. So in deployment normally, right, when you deploy the Next.js project, what happened? You might see this npm run build and then npm run start, right? After build the project, you want to start. Okay. That's what you're going to see, right? And npm run lint, you can run it locally, like you can run this dev during the development, right? So let's run our projects in the development phase. Npm run dev. So when you run npm, when you run the project, right, it will generate, or it will create .next folder. This is basically the compiled folder, right? It has all your code, needed code, right, compiled here, like ready to use. And this is kind of memory, right? This is kind of cache memory, like everything is cached here. Okay, cache, you see the cache memory, there is server, static files, it just contain everything. And from this .next, from where we are get, like compiled file, right? Or maybe, so compile means what? Things ready to use, right? So let's say you go localhost 3000, you read first time, right? First time maybe it will take little time, but when you open this route or this link, what happened? The information you get is cached here already. It just cache it, right? Like it just store that information. So next time if you go to the same route, it has ready to go here already. Okay. So that's how the Next.js cache everything, right? You can add the code not to cache, but that is something different, right? But normally things which is not changed, let's say for example, blog site, which will not change, right? Oh, sorry, that will not change. Yeah. So you want to generate static site, right? Means something not changing. You can generate the page beforehand, like make it ready to go, right? So that when somebody visit your website, your blog is there, like it's ready to send the information. Okay. But anyway, we will look at during the next, like when you go to the next class again, we're going to look at that. So where you're going to work is basically in the app directory, right? You're going to change your favicon icon, add the favicon, remove this, get new one, right? You can go to the favicon, like generate favicon, something like that. Favicon, you just look for here, right? Normally from here I get, okay. So from image you can generate, from text I'll just click text and just add something. Let's say this site is tailwind, right? EW, something like that. What I will do, I'll just make it like leave it everything rounded. I'll just make circle, so it will look something like this. There is sample, it should be right, but you have to expand this. Okay, so it looks something like that big. But see, sometimes it will not fit, right? So you must make it maybe small, like that. Something you want to just display, right? Favicon is what? Which will display in the top of your navigation, right? Nav bar here. Title, before title, right? You'll see that icon, that is favicon. So you can download and use it, right? Download that, and extract it somewhere here. And I will just drag it, right? Replace the other file, okay? I don't know how to do that. Let me minimize this. Close that. I don't need that anymore. And I will just drag this to my app right inside the app. Just place it here. Replace the before, right? Replace this. So next time when I start the project, I have to refresh one time, because remember it caches something from before, right? It just caches. So let's go and see if it's still there, right? Because we did npm run. See, we still have that favicon icon, right, from the Next.js from before, okay? So because see these informations, oh, now it changed already. Look at here, it changed, right? If it not change, you just do Control Shift P, right? And then reload window. You can do that to just or just restart the server again, right? You can do that, okay? So and then it will replace. That's how you change the favicon. You have global CSS because we install the Tailwind, right? Here you're gonna find Tailwind always have these 3 files. It will be always there, right? Okay. This is important. Base, components, and utilities, right? They all are coming from the Tailwind config. Not Tailwind config, but basically, yeah, we can call that, right? Import type config from the Tailwind CSS, and then here are some basic config. You can extend your style also. You can extend, right? You can extend colors. You will see sometimes people just extending here, right? Maybe adding the colors, and then just add whatever color you want, right? Okay. But these are objects, so you must separate with comma. Okay. So that's how you extend something. The theme has already available colors, right? Theme already have some colors in the Tailwind, but you can change that. So for now, just leave it. So here, whatever configuration you need for Tailwind, you do it in the theme, right? Theme extend. Inside the extend, you can add it, okay? If there is some extra plugins, you have to mention here, right? I never use plugins, but sometimes we do the extend, right? And you will see when you walk through that YouTube video, right? If there is something they are using, like extending something here, that is normal. Like colors or any properties of CSS, right? Tailwind CSS, they already have predefined values. You're just changing something for your need, right? And you just add it here. That is config. So see, in the Tailwind, you're gonna get Tailwind config, right? That is TypeScript Tailwind config, and then one will be what was that? Post. Yeah, that is Tailwind, and then it's just importing something, right? These things you are importing, okay? Even if you remove this, will be no problem, right? This is some style, right? Like for the root property, you add like foreground, RGB background, some color, right? That's why you see some style here. Whatever style you see here, like backgrounds and all that. Then the media, there is some media in a query for root, and then there is some body style, right? Okay, so you can, if you want, you can get rid of all this. You don't need, right? If I delete this, what's gonna happen? No change, right? So I think something changed here, but that was basically we don't see anything. So that is global CSS. So where that CSS is coming from, right? You have to look at the page now. Go back to the page and see all this now in the main. There is so many CSS things, right? Backgrounds, color, and all that. Okay. So let's get rid of all this. And just add heading 1, right? Home page. Now if I go back and I don't see any style, right? Basically my home page starting from the left top corner. So in CSS, normally what we used to do, you remember that star, right? Margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing border box. Okay. So tailwind already have resets. Everything tailwind has already included, right? That's the base style, and some style from for components, and something for utilities, right? These three imports you must include in your global CSS. Okay. And this global CSS we are importing here, right? In our main layout. See, in the next CSS you have layout, right? Where you're gonna get HTML, and inside this HTML we are rendering all our children. What is children? Children is the component, right? Coming from the different page. Okay. So this is the main page. In the app, you're gonna have one page, right? Okay. Now if you want any other page, what you will do, right? You just route, because see, one route has one page. Okay. That's the point, right? This is a home route. Localhost 3000 is slash, right? That is home route. It has one page. This page pass through the layout, right? This layout. Okay. Inside this HTML, this page is basically root page pass through here. If I go back here, right, and create the route called maybe about, something like that, right? I just, in order to make this route work, I have to add, always I have to add page, right? PSX, because we are using TypeScript. So page is nothing but the component, right? You have to export default page. Okay. So this page, you can name it anything, right? What you can call it? This is about, right? So let's call this about page. About page, right? Now you can add something here. Heading 1, about page, paragraph. I'll just put something text, right? So heading 1, I'm going to add some CSS. Okay. Class name. That's how you apply CSS, right? Tailwind. You just give a class and add the class name. So I can add maybe BG, right? BG red, and then it will give me all the red value, right, available for the red color. Okay. So I will just take maybe 400. And then if I want padding, right, all sides, so I'll just make it 4. Okay. And see what happened. So I said route. This is the home page route. Okay. Now I have second route, that is about, right? So to go to the about, right, slash about, like that. And see, in about page, I have this heading 1 with the background color and some padding. And then there is a paragraph, right? So paragraph, remember in Tailwind, your page is already reset. So everything start from left corner, right? Start from the 0 position, okay? 0 point. So that's why paragraph is starting from the 0. But in the heading, we added some padding, so it moves, right? Padding is inside the box, right? Okay, so we understand how you're gonna understand the routing, basic route, right? And you understand layout and page. Okay. In the layout, you're gonna have like the metadata. You can change the titles, description. You're gonna learn about that. You're gonna apply the font, right? So this font, we're gonna learn how to apply this font during our SATCN. Okay, we're gonna learn that. Okay, so let's look at the Tailwind now, right? So Tailwind has the, we call it utility classes, right? So when the best way to learn Tailwind is, if you have to install some Tailwind, right? You can go to the framework, which framework you are using. If React in the Vite, you can install, okay? There are many frameworks support, right, for Tailwind, okay? So Vite, you have to click that, and if you have already project, right, then you start from here, then initialize this, then the Tailwind config, you add this file, then in your base or in your root CSS, you add this, you must add this, and then start the npm run development, right? Next is use the CSS class from Tailwind by adding class name. So why we add class name, right? Why we add class name, not the class? Because in our HTML we use class. In HTML we have before, right? In HTML we say class is maybe demo, right? Demo. And then we in our CSS we just go and call dot demo, and then we say padding, something like that, right? So in React Next.js, why we use class name? Why do we do class name? Anyone want to answer? This is important, right? I mean, why we use class name? Simple interview question. Who want to answer? Who? Let me see who is here. Why do we use class name, right? No one? Why do we use class name in the Next.js or maybe React, right? Not the class. Because in JavaScript, right? In JavaScript, in normal HTML, CSS, there is no JavaScript, right? Basically, this base. But in JavaScript, the class is the keyword, reserved keyword, okay? The class is reserved keyword for defining the object, right? Object-oriented programming, okay? Object. So that's why we cannot use reserved keyword to do something else, okay? That there will be conflict, right? So they said, okay, we just change the class to class name, right? So simple answer is class is the reserved keyword in JavaScript. That's the reason, right? I mean, class is already in JavaScript. That's why we don't use. Okay. All right. So now I need to learn Tailwind, right? What should I do now? That's the point. Okay. How should I learn Tailwind, right? I mean, I have things ready to go. The point is, how should I learn Tailwind? Who gonna answer that? What is the best way? I don't know anything. How should I learn Tailwind? So that was the installation part. I mean, you understand why is there, right? In the index CSS and all that. Okay. I mean, now we know how to use. Basically, in every HTML, you just put class name and add the class now, right? So we need to know the property. Okay, the property of Tailwind. So if you go to this website, right? So there are some layout properties. Layout, right? Like how you gonna like lay out your box. Okay, that is the layout property. The second is flex and grid. This is also for layout, right? Some properties for the flex and grid. Then for spacing, right? So where is spacing now? When we use spacing, right? So every element, we remember everything from the base, okay? Every element is what? Box. And you're gonna add margin padding, right? Or space between two elements. So that is spacing. Okay. So we have to understand spacing property. Now size property, right? So when we apply size property, when do we need size property? So you're gonna have some size, right? Width or height, max width, mean width. Okay, mean height, max height, right? So there will be some size you always gonna need. Now the font, like typography, right? So font family or font size, font style, right? These are the typography. Text color. Now color of the text. So color, you want to apply color, background color or color for the text. What should we do now, right? So these are the text property, right? For background, the next one is border, right? border properties. So you're going to need a rounded border, right? So the radius will be something, border width, border color, style, and you will see some example for every of this property, right? Do you want to add some effect, like effects for the box shadow, shadow colors, opacity, and all that, right? So we have CSS for that also. Okay. The next thing is filter, right? Filters, I think there will be some, like you adding some blur, brightness, contrast, drop shadow. These are few properties you can look at, right? Now you want to create table in tailwind CSS. Yes, there is table property also, right? And then some animation and transition. Okay. Also, when you do some transition, right, there will be some scaling, like transform, scale, rotate, translate, screw, all that, right? You're going to see all that properties. Okay. SVG also, there is support for SVG. I mean, official plugin. Okay, let's not go to the plugin. Screen readers and force, right? So see, here is everything, right? What we have done in the basic of our CSS. So when you learn this, it's better, right, to compare with your normal CSS. So in normal CSS, first thing was box model, right? So let's see. I will try to apply some box model here quickly. Okay, some box model. So let's go back here, right? What I'm going to do is in this home page, right, I will just return a div, right? And then I'm going to have heading 1. This is home page. And then I'm going to have paragraph, right? So this, I want to have this, I want to make this box, add the background, add some border, put it in the small box, right? Maybe use some width, height, add some padding, all that. Okay. So first thing, let's talk about only box model, right? In the box model, what we get? Padding inside the box, right? You're going to have padding that is inside the box. So p tag dash, right? So the p, just if you put p, then 4 side will be padding, right? Like padding 10 pixel. So what happened? All side get 10 pixel, right? But again, you say padding left, padding start from top, right? Padding top, padding right, padding bottom, padding left. So you can add all that property. Okay, padding X will be left and right, and then padding Y will be top and bottom, right? So normally either you're going to do padding and then give some number, right? So let's say I put 4 here. So what is 4 now? 4 is 1 rem, right? That is 16 pixel. Okay, 4 is 1 rem, that is 16 pixel. So what I have done here is in this div, let's call it this div, right? So how you know to select this div in your CSS? Think like that. So you selected the div and you added the padding for inside the div all side. If I have to add margin, same thing, right? Margin, you can do top, maybe you can do margin bottom, margin left, margin right, same thing, right? Or or margin all side, right? So that will be, let's make it maybe 10. Okay, so the 10s will be like 2.5 rem, right? 4 is 1 rem, that was 16, 32, and the 5 will be 8, right? So that is 40 pixel all side. Okay, inside the box, right? The next is what is the next? Now we get padding, we get margin, then you want to add border. So border, how we select border, and then 10 pixel, 20 pixel, solid, and then maybe color, right? Red or blue, something like that. So we just put border here, border, right? So you can add dash, dotted, double, solid. Normally the solid is default, right? Border, and then you can make it like border. Also you have bottom, right? Or border top, you can do top. Okay, left, right, you can do that also, right? So border, I will just make it maybe 1, right? So that will be 1 pixel border all around. Okay, you want to have color for the border, you have to apply again border, right? Border red and make it 500, whatever, because color has the property, right? If you select red, then there is 6 7 properties, sorry, different value for the red. Okay, so you will use that, right? Border red 500. So we have padding, margin, border. What else we can add? So in our box model, we have padding, margin, border. I mean, what else? Who remember? We have border, margin outside, padding inside. Then we have border also, right? I mean, if you want, you can give width also, right? Width. The width of the box is, baby, let's make it, there is a lot, right? So half of the screen, 50% of the screen, right? This will, if you hover here, width is 50%. So see, the class name is dot w1 dash half, and width is 50%, right? So let's see how it looks now, right? Go back here and refresh, and there is some error, but okay, somewhere something is wrong, right? Oh, okay, I added some, remember I added some code in the about page, right? Where I did about page, I think I was messing around somewhere. So let's see, the error is in the layout, right? Oh, okay, in the layout. That means you go back here and then this one. Okay, so if you add something extra, it will complain, right? It has to be clean, good to go, right? No error. Okay, so we can go back to our home page and check our box. So I don't see the border, but it's 50%, right? Somehow the border did not work. Let's fix that one. So if that does not work or did not work, we have to find out, right? How we apply border? BORD, border, maybe 2 pixel, right? If I just put 2, save, right? Yeah, I don't know why 1 was not there. But so look at this now, right? Same thing, this box, the div has a border with some padding inside. You have margin all around. That's why you see this away from the corner, right? And the width of this box is 50%. Now, if I need to put this box in the center, what should I do now? Anyone remember how I can put this box in the center of my screen? So remember, that was always remember the margin, right? 0 auto. Top and bottom 0, left and right is auto, right? So in the tailwind, you're gonna get margin, top and bottom. You don't have to worry because we have a special property, margin X, that means left and right only, right? We just need to do left and right auto, okay? And it will move in the center, right? So if you know all this property, like how to use padding, margin, border, right? These are the most used property always, right? You're gonna have, because when you create component, what component is what? There will be one box, the HTML, which you return, right? And inside that HTML, you have many sub, like child HTMLs, and you arranging something right inside. Maybe you have many boxes inside, sub child boxes. There is some icons, some text, maybe form, things like that. Okay, and how you add CSS, right? The reason we doing this raw, right? I mean, we after we start using satcn, or maybe you can copy paste some CSS, tailwind components, right? But still it's good to understand, okay? Like basic things we must understand. Now, I mean, we can do like some kind of background also, right? Class name. So the background is background BG. Now what color? Orange, right? And what is the intensity of the color? What's like strength? Something like that you can do, right? So in the paragraph, I added some background. Save this. So in paragraph, I added some background, right? Look at that. And it's inside the box. okay, div, right? If I go back and put some padding in my, see, every element is box in itself, right? We know that every element is box. So when there is a box, you can apply the box model, padding, margin, all that, right? So padding, you can put 5, save it. So see the box little bit expand, right? And there is space all around 5 pixel is more, right? So 5 is, I think, around how much? 20 pixel. Okay. So 4 is 16. You added 4 to that, right? Because each number is 4 pixel. If you put P1, that is 4 pixel, P2, 8 pixel, P3, 12, P4, that is 16 pixel, right? So you can see that. If you want to have margin that is outside of this paragraph, so M maybe 5, right? Save it. Now it move away from this heading, right? See, there is a space now between this heading and all that. So you get the idea how to apply background, how to apply box model. If you want color, right? So text and then color. Text color will be cyan, red, whatever, right? So let's make it red or maybe purple, right? And what is the number? So you have from 100 to 950. Just choose one of them, right? How dark or light color you want for your text. That's how you apply text, right? So this will help you to understand basically, I mean, we get the idea now, right? How to use the box model in Tailwind CSS. It's same thing now. What I ask you guys to do, right, is quickly like go through Flex and try to use that, right? Flex, grid, just look at, right, and see how it is used, okay? If you can navigate with your CSS, the what you have learned before in the Flex and grid, that can help, right? So just remember that part and try to compare here, okay? So in the Flex, if you remember what is Flex basis, right? That is the width, okay? The width of the box, how much you want, right? So that is width. Next one is direction. So the Flex direction is normally when you do Flex, right, what happens? It is horizontal, okay? And then Flex direction, you make it column, right? So Flex col or Flex row, okay, that's how it works. If you go to the here Flex, you see the Flex row, that is by default, right? Row reverse, Flex column or Flex col reverse, right? So you have just have to, you know, like how you want to put your element, right? Child element inside the box. The Flex row is by default. Even if you don't put, that will be Flex row. But you can make it Flex reverse. You can make it Flex col. Now it looks like this. So if you open each property here, you get the, you know, like the name of the property to use and some design here, right? How it looks, the box and some property applied, right? So please, you know, just spend some time understanding this thing, right? Plus you're going to learn while building the project also. So okay guys, so just decide how you're going to learn. If somewhere confusion, let's talk to me and we're going to look at that, right? So we look at the box model, I mean basic things, right? That was the one of the most important one. Width, height, you can apply. The next, you always see the grid and Flex, okay? Most of the time, right? Grid and Flex. See, there is one proper space between, right? What is space between? So see, if there is two element inside, right? Let's say this is the, there is a deep box. This is a deep box, right? There is 3 children inside. Space x4 means each children in between there is a space of 16 pixel. So that is also new property called space between. I mean space x or space y, right? If that elements are horizontally, then space y. Okay, I believe when you do the work, it will help, right? So I will stop here. We get what to do. Please just work on, right? And please ask me, okay, if there is something, just let me know, we can discuss on that, right? Let me stop here.